So today we're going to talk about how to get rid of xanthomas. What is a xanthoma? A xanthoma is a buildup of cholesterol and triglycerides on the top of the skin. It's actually these cells called macrophages, which is an immune cell that eats up things, and it's sucking up too much cholesterol and triglyceride, and it's in your skin, and it shows up as this yellowish white deposit, sometimes on the inside of the eyelid right through here on both sides, or in the palm of the hand, or your elbows, your knees, your Achilles tendon. And that's all very interesting. But what is at the bottom of this? What is really causing this? And then how do we get rid of it? But first, let's talk about what we know about xanthomas. We do know that many times these xanthomas are associated, okay? They don't say caused by, but they're associated with some type of hereditary lipid disorder. Okay, lipids are fats. So one example would be familial hypercholesterolemia, and that's a hereditary condition that's passed on by your genes where you have high cholesterol, which is very resistant to various types of treatment. It's really a problem where you don't have enough receptors in your liver for LDL cholesterol. And so your body just can't get rid of this cholesterol. So sometimes it'll back up in the skin and show up as these xanthomas. But it's also associated with various other things that I want to talk about too. One being biliary tract obstruction. What is that? That is a blockage of your bile ducts. And because bile is the primary thing that gets rid of excess cholesterol, you just have excess cholesterol because the bile can't do its job. Then you have another condition called primary biliary cirrhosis. And this is another condition where we're getting a blockage of the bile. Things are not flowing correctly through the bile ducts. So we're going to have a problem with getting rid of cholesterol. Then we have another condition called cholestasis. Now, the term stasis means stagnant, it's non-moving, okay? So the cholesterol is not moving through the body. There's sludge in the bile ducts. And this is actually, I find it's very common in a lot of people. They have this bile sludge that is not allowing the flow of bile, and they have all sorts of issues with right shoulder pain because of the backup of the system, with inability to digest fats, with discomfort underneath the right rib cage, with an increased risk of getting gallstones, which is a bile salt deficiency. And cholestasis, which is this bile sludge, is really kind of like the step that occurs before you get a stone, because bile helps thin this sludge. And xanthomas are also associated with high A1C and diabetes, which means there's too much glucose in your blood. And so when someone has this xanthoma, okay, it's a little red indicator light letting you know that you have high cholesterol, probably high triglycerides, and probably high LDL caused by the things I just mentioned. A lot of times people have this idea that if they have high cholesterol or triglycerides in their blood, that means they're consuming more cholesterol, fat, or triglycerides, when in fact, this is not always the case. Carbs, sugar, refined carbohydrates convert very easily to triglycerides and cholesterol. And so your high LDL, cholesterol, and triglycerides could be coming just because you're consuming too many carbs, not necessarily fat. And on the flip side of that, many times people think that the ketogenic diet is really a high-fat diet, when actually the ketogenic diet really means low carb. It doesn't mean necessarily high fat, but of course, when you lower your carbs and you have moderate protein, you end up eating a lot of fat. But to generate ketones, you do it by lowering your carbs. All right, so what can someone do about these xanthomas? Okay, I'm going to give you a list of things. The most important thing is to take niacin. And the amount of niacin I would recommend would be 500 milligrams extended release, and I would take that 2 to 3 times a day. By the way, niacin is one of the most potent ways to lower cholesterol in the body, especially the buildup of cholesterol in different parts of the body, as well as reducing the uptake of LDL by the macrophage. Okay, number 2, I would recommend choline. Okay, choline is a supplement. Choline helps to prevent a fatty liver. Choline helps to reduce cholesterol. Number 3, TUDCA. What is TUDCA? It's a very specialized type of bile salt that helps cholestasis, which is that stagnant cholesterol in your bile ducts. It helps the flow of cholesterol. It helps reduce cholesterol. It helps the receptors in the liver take on LDL. It helps to lower LDL cholesterol. It does a lot. But what we want is a nice flow of cholesterol out of the liver so you can get rid of the excess cholesterol. So niacin, choline, TUDCA, okay? I also recommend consuming huge salads, okay? Like 7 to 10 cups of salad every single day. And I would also put walnuts on the salad because they're high in the precursor for omega-3 fatty acids, okay? Which actually helps lower cholesterol. And I would also put extra virgin olive oil with some garlic on there, and that's going to assist in getting rid of some of this cholesterol. Now, the next recommendation is to exercise every day, especially if you have high triglycerides. Those extra triglycerides in your bloodstream can be burned off with using more energy. So we need to add exercise into this protocol. All right, the next recommendation is to try to get a good portion of your protein from fish or seafood high in omega-3 fatty acids. That will also help. There's a product that you can get called red yeast rice extract. It is like a natural version of a statin. It is very powerful in lowering your cholesterol. You may not need it, but if you have a very, very stubborn situation where you can't bring your cholesterol down, that would be something I would investigate and look at implementing as well. Number 8, doing the healthy ketogenic diet with a twist. So you just do the ketogenic diet without adding a lot of fat, okay? Consume fat in this ketogenic plan that normally comes with the protein. Just don't add more fat, like don't add more butter or keto desserts or all these other extra fats. And maybe the fats that you do focus on would be the avocado oil, the olive oil, the omega-3 oils in either cod liver oil or fish oil or sardines. But this way we can lower the carbs so we don't get this extra conversion of cholesterol being created, especially if you are a diabetic or you have a high A1C. And the last thing is doing intermittent fasting. That can greatly assist in regulating your cholesterol profiles. Now, since I mentioned niacin as the number one thing to do, if you haven't seen this video on niacin, it'll give you a lot more data. Check it out. I put it up right here.